Hi, and welcome to Friday's Channeling. This is Roxanne from Ascension. We bid you all a good day. It was kind of like an opening. That was pretty good. No announcements, I don't think. No, I think we're good. Right? We have the Odyssey of Ascension shirts and mugs that are going to come from Zaggle probably this week. It'll be open up on the website probably by next Monday, I would think. We want to get it in time for maybe Black Friday. I don't even know if the company has sales on Black Friday, but if they do, that would be awesome. So we'll see what that is, because we got the logo all done, and Odyssey of Ascension. We got a little Ophiuchus action going. We're going to come up with some different things. We got mugs. I think we're going to have calendar with like the memes that we put out. So that'll all be available probably next week starting. So we'll send out a message, look at it on the Odyssey of Ascension website in the store section, or shop, I think is what we're going to put it under, the shop area. But just a heads up coming your way. I think that's it. I like your shoes. Those are cool. You guys ready? All right. There's going to have to come a time when you all are going to exceptionally be honest with yourself. But the recognition of that is the key. When you become a master of observation to see how you're just repeating your life, it's okay to repeat your life. But when your life becomes the purpose of repetition, then the experience is the versions of repetition in repeating that become your life. That's your experience. You find these moments of happiness and you cherish them as if they're a gift. You give thanks and gratitude for having these moments of experiences of measured bliss. And then you treasure them as if your job is to protect that moment. When the failure that you see is the moment, is your natural, that you're holding on to. You're holding on to it as if it's going to go away, but that's your natural. Your natural is the exquisite moment that you are blissfully living without measurement. And when you are leaping, Roxy just thought, 12 lords are leaping. Or is it 7? You leap into the time frame of that next idea, moment of happiness, because the one that you have in memory grows stale, like an old sandwich. You bite it and it's like, it's not that good anymore. You've had it too many times. Pizza again, although pizza you can eat a lot. Pizza's good. Yeah. So happiness is nothing to be sought. Escape from your natural is a temporary, and it has to be recycled because it is an achieved state through a progression of limited thought, or a process of logic, if you will. And then you live your life that way. And that's how humans have been living their lives. And that's okay. You got to know that's the way you choose to express God. But when you find yourself in an exceptional moment to express God naturally, it becomes a choice of a self-awareness that either is going to preserve itself as it is, or allow itself to become the field of worthiness. That is, worthiness is a depleted word of your truthfulness about that. But that's what we use. So you guys can gallop, if you will, to be a worthiness state of awareness, that you're allowed to have moments that have no cause or effect of being happy. The discovery of what you are all the time. The natural. And the natural is never reasoned. See, it's like you get satisfied with a passion, but there's no such thing as a passion that can never be satisfied, because that's not your passion. That's measurement. So you work hard to become this idea of your passion to get to a point, and that point becomes satisfied. That was not your passion. That was what you do to fulfill yourself a moment of time, to become some idea of yourself that says, I'm better than what I was. And you cycle that. And you regurgitate all of your shit that you learn, and you pinpoint your hopes that that is going to be something that's given in receivership, in other words, back to you, as something of measure to make yourself feel good. In other words, you are admired for your knowledge. But when the admire, or the knowledge rather, is not accepted as it, but rather rejected, then you get angry. And that's the first telltale clue that whenever you are angry about other ones not accepting your knowledge of regurgitation from other limitations, past timelines that you've conjured up in some idea of experience, that's a telltale clue that you are in the pursuit of a moment of happiness instead of being the natural. And the natural is this exquisite God that has no temperament, tempo, pace, predication, insight of outcome, or rather better, is intention of outcome. It just is. Because the harmony of the universe is the moment. Memory tells you more and more, if you're paying attention and being aware, that the memory is a reflection that doesn't have the same quality as the now. And you're going to start to feel how the now is a quality beyond any memory that you're trying to do again and again and again and again and again. As well as taking another point of view, which is God, and telling them, or showing them, or hoping for them, that they will see your point of view. Because without their acceptance, your point of view is devalued. Because you depend on people seeing things your way to make yourself feel better, because you want to know if it's something. See, when you're trying to convince someone, or get someone, or show someone, an example is when you go somewhere and you all of a sudden, maybe your family goes on a vacation and you're trying to make them have a good time. Because you see it this way, but they don't see it that way, and you're upset they don't see it that way. So that's a tell clue for you to see that you're trying to create your happiness through other people's reactions, which is again in pursuit of happiness. It's not the natural. To fall in love with the natural is an excruciating idea, eradication of separated selves that are about, surrounded on billions of sides. And they're all the time showing you what is correct in history, what has been useful at one time, but they have nothing to do with the now. They're the secondary thoughts that convince you. They are a feeling of remembrance that that self was, and this self has to be that self, because you are not, immediately when you recognize this self, you're not that self. That self is gone. And now this self is not this self. Now that's how fast it is. So you remember an idea and you claim it as not a self. You claim it as a memory, but it's actually a time of now that is the self. And that self received an idea of happiness. But then that self doesn't know itself deserves happiness and continuation without any effort. So it comes and creates an idea, and then you arrive at this self that says, oh yeah, that was awesome. And you go back and try that again. And try to recreate it. Because it's easier. But the exquisite pain you are in that is unnoticed is immeasurably beautiful of the harmony of the universe of allowance. Things that can be created of God. Because everyone I hear, and it just echoes all around humanity all the time, is, why is this happening to me? Well, it's because you're God. That's the power and the will of God creating an idea of vibration for the wonderful emotions to reflect an idea of measurement. And then you're the one who measures it, and the reflective ideas of your emotional state say, oh, that's this, and then you get the immediate reaction of it, of good, bad, indifferent, blah, blah, blah. So the excruciating part is to stop and trust and do what you choose to do. Because A, you don't deserve it. You desire a whole bunch of bullshit. And that's what you're claiming what you deserve. What you deserve is what's available in the now. That's what you need to get used to. So it might be a period of time that you're going to have to get used to being not the hoping God, or the God that wants to win $1 million in the lottery, and wants to have all this and that. That kind of God you got to put down for a moment and say, I'm going to be a meek God. A God that doesn't have desires. A God that is vulnerable and allows. Because all you have to do is look at your life right now. And if you have to question your happiness, then you know you're not happiness. Everything else is a bullshit excuse. You can convince yourself you're happy, but when you convince yourself you're happy, you're convincing yourself you're happy. That's not happiness. So happiness is not even made noticed by the self. The self becomes awareness of harmony, and that's everlasting, what you call happiness, or it's the bliss of the now, whatever you want to see it as. But of course, within those ideas of bliss or happiness, there's a billion other versions of what you call emotional reflection that have nothing to do with polarity, and that's what you're not seeing. So you status yourself on where you're supposed to be happy, and that becomes your command of life, or your declaration of my dependence. So you can play that trumpet all you want. And you know, the point is, as I really want you to see, is when you stop being the God that you think you need to be, that you've been, that you've always done, and you're getting no results. The God you have to try is maybe now I don't mean quiet, okay, but the God that doesn't seek such boisterous action of changing the self. The God that is meek, that accepts the self as is, and then you start being yourself. I mean, any of you who watch Roxy's channel, you see her hair change, her makeup change, her face change, the way she wears her her beard is less, and you know, the rings come on, and she's wearing these different outfits. She's fallen in love with herself. And see, Roxy's fallen in love with Roxanne, the whole, and that's who she's getting to know, and she expresses that. So it doesn't mean become what got fucked up on somebody's fucking timeline about all of a sudden spirituals are supposed to be some minimalist bullshit of, you know, I think Ophiuchus said a few years ago of wearing a diaper and eating a leaf. Like that's going to get you into heaven or something. Fucking insanity. But anyways, that's a game to play. But what we're saying is you take what's available to you, and everything in your reality is God. So that means everything in your reality is usable. Okay? Everything. So you can exquisitely wear the clothes you want to wear and present yourself in your fashion of authentic, which only uncovers the natural. Because the more authentic, the more you fall in love with yourself. But the more when you're in that moment continuing what you know you don't want to do, that's the more of the same that's going to be sustained, because that's the vibration, and vibration is law in your reality. Just know that. So I think that's a good idea for you guys to play. And you got to know that no one is a dependency for you. So I can't tell you how to choose that. We've already shown you can. But the how is the moment when you know you choose the difference between the hope, the desired out of now, the I'm not enough, all those selves that you've been battling, and the absolute effortless ease that I deserve to be authentic. And the last thing I want to give you is this. Remember it again. I want to say it again. I've said it in the channels before. When you take all your fucking masks off, you're still going to be an image to somebody, because you are a reflection in the reality, a co-creator. Okay? So you have an image in front of you. If that image, okay, say you're trying to be a mask, let's do that, okay? So you run into work, hey boss, I'm here. I love you boss, you're the best. Because you're being an image to keep your job, or whatever bullshit you want to do. And that's a lot of people's scenario. Or with your husband or wife. You know, you have a sexual fantasy with your husband, but you can't tell him because you're afraid you're going to lose him. So you have to live this mask with theirs in this particular time. And then you find another mask and another mask and another mask. So, see, no matter what you do to change your mask, they still have their free will to fucking interpret you. There's not a fucking thing you can do about it. See, that's what it is. You got to see the uniqueness of individuality choosing their own truth. No matter what you do, it's still going to be dead nuts up to them. Period. So you might as well be something you've never been. Okay? Most people haven't. And that's authentic. The self that doesn't give a shit about what it's supposed to be. The self that says, this is what I want, and if your spouse doesn't agree or doesn't want to be part of it, then go on with your life, because you're here to give yourself an exceptional life. Nowhere in anywhere that I've ever seen, except in your bullshit religions, that says that you have to be less than yourself. That you have to be mediocrity, and you have to make love work, and make marriage work, or make relationships work, or make your job work, and take and sacrifice yourself, because sacrificial is, cutting your own self. It's cutting a portion away of your authentic and hiding. And that's in any fashion of your life. So know this, the more you shed your images, you're still going to be chosen by whoever's co-creating with you, their own version of you. So it doesn't give a shit then. Doesn't that give you a freedom to go, you know what, they're going to do it anyway, so why would I be me? Because me is real fucking happy. God, I am happy being me. And I have no reasons to be happy. Because I'm just me. And that's what it is. You're here because your existence. You take your existence and you are bitching about everything about your existence, but you're not seeing the beauty that you get to bitch. Because that's what you do as a god. You get to have that because you've been chosen to exist. All right. So get naked, shed all the selves, go out and try things differently. Go a different place. Say no to the friend that you don't want to do something with. This idea, we can say yes to something that you've been denying yourself. You want to do a physical change on your body, or get a tattoo, or get a piercing, or start smoking, or eat meat finally, or I don't give a shit. God damn it, be you. Because all you're doing is fucking around with the same cycle. And the cycle is vibration. Vibrations are law, so you're only going to get the results of what you are. So you might as well discover what you're not by choosing the things in the now that know, that you know, the authentic knows, that it wants to do. And it's definitely not what you've been. So you get what you're not. And the unknown comes rushing in and gives you the exceptional life that you've deserved, that you forgot you are. But of course, in the end, it doesn't really matter because you all go home. But you're allowed to experience this portion of creation because it's available. And explorers that we are, love the unknown. That's all I've got. This is Ophiuchus. Bid you all good day. Thanks, Owen. All right, guys. Love it. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next week. And happy gobble gobble to you. Bye all.